On your marks, get set,
go!
The Hyannis Marathon kicked off last weekend outside of the Hyannis Resort and Conference Center. The Sunday morning's big race wasn't the only event for participants to take part in. Fun runs, dinner parties, and meet and greets with notable marathoners, including 1972 Olympic gold medalist Frank Shorter, and more were available starting Friday evening. I caught up with Mr. Shorter to get his advice for new runners and talk a little bit about his involvement with the Cape running community.
My advice is always go out at a pace where you can say to yourself, because of your training, look, I can go the whole way at this pace, and back off 30%, because at 20 miles, you'll thank me. My presence here, starting with last year, was to support the running community on the Cape, not just because I'd moved to Falmouth last year, over a year now, but because after COVID, people really needed to get out and start doing things again. And I wanted to support the races, and say, look, it's time to start up again. And so that's the other reason. And so I did it last year, and now I'm going to do it again this year.
As one of only 2 Americans to ever win the men's Olympic marathon event, and most recent to do so, Mr. Shorter gave his thoughts on the state of American Olympic runners.
I think we're closer on the women's side. The women are running really well at an international level now. And I don't know what the reason is on the men's side, but I do think what could help, particularly the men, is that when we were all training in the 1970s, we supported each other, all the people against whom I competed. When we weren't competing, we actually would train together and help each other, and then the race would come and we'd try to beat each other's brains out, and then when it was done, we'd go jog down together. And I think the money and the agents and the shoe companies have mitigated against that, in that they have made it so that the enclave in Boston, with Bill Rogers, that can't really exist anymore, because all the athletes in that enclave will have different influences financially, and I think that works against that training together, because when you're in a group, the group all get better together than they would individually. Each person in that group gets better than he or she would were they doing it alone. And I think we've lost some of that connection.
For Cape Media News, I'm Mitch Sok.